Let's bring in Andrew Weissmann, MSNBC legal analyst and former FBI general counsel and former senior member of the Mueller investigation. So Michael Cohen's also testifying about having interactions with the SDNY. He testified about trying to have interactions with the Mueller team. I assume this is because Hoffinger is trying to say you weren't just peddling stuff to try to reduce your sentence, because the defense is going to come after him and try to say you're peddling lies in order to make yourself look better or to lessen the time that at the time you were spending behind bars.
Well, I think also what Susan Hoffinger is trying to do is just sort of explain how he ended up here and sort of the way in which he was pleading to something related to the special counsel Mueller investigation, how the Southern District got involved, and he pled there. So just to give a history so the jury sort of understands how did this happen, how did you get caught, how was a case built, and then sort of how the state ultimately got involved. I was in court, and one of the reactions I had was, I recount this in a book I wrote, which is this case, the Stormy Daniels case, came up because we were investigating Russia interference, and we came upon this Michael Cohen account for sort of other reasons. And at the bottom of this document,
Resolution Incorporated, or whatever it's called,
Essential Consulting.
Yeah.
And it started as Resolution.
You're right, they did.
You've got version 1.0 before it was 2.0, which was sort of an interesting explanation from Michael Cohen as to how that happened. And at the bottom of this document, sort of unrelated to what we were looking at, was this $130,000 payment. And I remember I was there with one of my colleagues, and we were sort of like, what is this? And we sort of looked it up and did some digging, and we were like, what's a Stormy Daniels? And we, because nothing, I'm happy to say nothing that I knew beforehand. And so just because I'm a nerd and a prude, and I still remember we went into Robert Mueller and said, we have a blue dress problem, referring back to the Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky scandal. And that's where we separated the Michael Cohen case, because there was a piece which he pled guilty to related to his lying in front of Congress related to the Moscow project that Donald Trump was involved in. But we didn't want anything to do with sort of what this sort of salacious piece.
Well, that's interesting, because when the Starr investigation was launched, it was initially about bad dealings from Clinton. It then veered into the blue dress issue, as you mentioned. That ended up backfiring spectacularly on Republicans. Bill Clinton was reelected. Republicans, I believe at the time, lost control of the House. Do you look at this case now, and I know we're talking about legal stuff, but let's look at it from a political lens. Do you see this because it's about a porn star and a hush money payment from it's so long ago, and at this point Michael Cohen is kind of a mushy character, to put it nicely. Is this potentially going to backfire on, not saying Democrats brought this, but is it going to backfire on the Democrats in this election?
So I'm not a political analyst, so I really don't know the answer to that, but if I were looking at this within my sort of legal lens, the reason we separated it is, one, we certainly understood we had a specific remit in the special counsel Mueller investigation, which was, and so we were not like a normal prosecutor who could just keep pursuing things. We also didn't want to be like Ken Starr and have this sort of morph into, not anything related to what we started with. And so this was an unrelated piece. We thought it was worthy of looking into, and that's why we separated it out. I have to say, one of the things I was struck by in thinking about this case just before Michael Cohen took the stand was how strong the case is and how much it should really matter. Even if you put the criminal part aside, what David Pecker testified to about a media organization, even if you consider it a down market media organization, aligning itself with a political candidate secretly to do two things, not just catch and kill. I mean, that's bad enough. But also, as Michael Cohen testified to, and David Pecker, that they also promulgated fake stories, intentionally fake stories about their adversaries, the adversaries of Donald Trump. And he talked about Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Hillary Clinton. Even if you take the criminal lens completely aside, and I'm just now in sort of a political realm, or what I would call a citizen realm, isn't that something we should care about? I mean, it seems so much like a page ripped from Autocracy.